Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am so happy. Thank everybody for being here. Today we have a special guest by the name of Shantelle, the S Ladybug. Brumfield. She's a nonprofit brand doctor. She works with S2B Brand Hospital, and what she pretty much does is try to help companies and small organizations with funding. So she's gonna speak to us about what she does and how she does it and anything like that. As always, we do welcome in questions. So if anybody may have questions, please drop them in down below, and the moderators can help me pick up people who do have questions. Let's see here. Thank you so much for the 7 or 8 people who are already here. Yeah, this live stream today is going to be all about speaking with Shantelle S Ladybug Brumfield about ways of receiving money and not having to come necessarily out of pocket for your organizations. Let me say hi. She went to go grab her coffee real quick. And I do appreciate her again for coming up here. She's in the California area where she's a 3-hour time difference from me. So where's, excuse me, my morning allergy. So where it is 9:15 here, it is 6:15 her time. But she said this is the perfect moment. So I'm not going to argue. I'm just happy that she is here. What's up, RFD? I tried to email you or message you on the gram about coming on the show as well. Let me know if you received it. Let me see. Hello to Kenneth and She Said and Michael. Denny Ray Bees, happy Thursday to you. Pre-retirement days, OG to the brand, RFD. I'm so glad you are here. Y'all, she does radio talk. I've been catching her on the gram. So yeah, she has a lot of good things coming up as well. So I was trying to get her on the show. I will try to reach out to you again on the gram. I don't know if it went through. It was acting kind of funny. Let me see. What's up, Fresh and Fire? Fresh and Fire. I think today is the day I'm going to put together this hydroponic system. Thank you, sis, very much again. Our cousin Gant. What's up? Sit back and enjoy the program. Thank you very much. Always awesome to see F. Smith. Thank you so much. We already got almost 20 people in here, 2 minutes in. Like I said, we're going to be talking to Miss Brumfield, the Ladybug, about trying to gain money, trying to help your business, your organization receive money. So that's always a plus. She helps organizations with brain freeze, my bad. But yeah, she does help organizations and people interested in funding and things like that. So I will let her further explain it. She is behind the scenes and I don't like to keep people waiting. My hydroponic system is on the way. I am ready. I can't wait to see it, F. Smith. I will check my DMs. We'll look forward to coming on the show. Thank you so much, RFD. Let me bring her up to the show. Like I said, she is a nonprofit brand doctor. She helps people, organizations out, and I will let her talk about her brand, the company, and all that good stuff. You guys are always welcome to ask questions. And without further ado, please welcome to the stage Shantelle S. Ladybug Brumfield. Can we get some little hands yay?
I mean, it is almost 6:30 here, so I'm getting up, so yeah, I can give y'all some good energy this morning.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you again so much for coming. I feel bad when people say they're from California. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're on the 3-hour time difference.
No, girl. If you wake up and you about your business, there is no time frame that it should ever restrict you.
I've been watching a lot of motivational videos and skits and things like that because I'm trying to be more positive and get things going instead of just sitting back. And I saw Steve Harvey mention about if you are about your business, you do not have an 8-hour sleep schedule. And that's so me nowadays.
And for all of your audience, that they're all business owners, nonprofit leaders, or even entrepreneurs, they understand that. They understand what it means to be up at that 10 o'clock at night, 2 a.m., only get 4 hours of sleep, and you back at it.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you your age, but when I get a thought in my mind, I have to write it down immediately, whether it be 10, 12, 2 a.m. I'm I got to write it down because I do not want to miss this moment.
Oh, yeah. Or voice. I use a lot of voice notes. You know,
Ooh.
your phone has so much storage, you know, you're almost walking around with a computer. So any thought that you have, you know, I'm somewhat of a writer too because I do journal, but having that quick note of like, remind me later.
Once again, thank you so much for the 20 plus people in here. I appreciate it. We got some more people in. We have Sarah's Happy Hives.
Hey,
What's my
Sarah
name?
girl.
I said hi to F. Smith Joyce. Thank you for coming in. Passionately Intrigued Art. She's a moderator. She's going to be keeping track if we may miss any questions. She's a business owner as well. Anybody we may have missed are in the bushes. Greetings. Thank you for coming in to this very special live stream. Let me see.
Now I know I did hear you tell me that I'm supposed to introduce myself. So my bad, y'all.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just about to ask you. So if you don't mind just like letting people know about yourself and the company.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Shantelle, S Ladybug Brumfield. I'm also known as a nonprofit brand doctor here at the S2B Brand Hospital, where we specialize in helping really nonprofits breathe life back into their organizations in the areas of attention, collaboration, and engagement to drive impact and increase donations. And whenever we say donations, people are always hype about the donations side.
Yeah.
I'm originally from California. I've been in this space for a little bit over 2 decades now. I'm a nonprofit leader myself and business owner. A lot of the things that we do at the S2B Brand Hospital are very reflective of my own journey because before joining the team, I was working full time as a scientist and really jumped out there to really do what I felt like I was passionate about and wanted to do the work that was more, you know, I would say aligned with my purpose in life. And I was being able to contribute to the lives of young people. And when I stepped out, you know, coming from the space of working as a scientist, I was writing RFPs. Actually, my first RFP I wrote, an RFP, for those who are listening, are requests for proposals. So they're essentially grants, but they go through a different process. And my first RFP was like for $1 million. And I was working on this project. I was working during the time at National Institute of Health. As a scientist there under the department of Dr. Fauci. And so, of course, when I say all of that, institutionally, you know, well known, and to write a grant or even a proposal at that level was like no problem getting money. But the moment I stepped out on my own and and have all those pain points and those struggles and really trying to figure out how I was going to have this balance of spending my own money and also go after what I had aligned as my mission. And y'all, I was struggling for real. And so I checked myself into the Brand Hospital, and through our work, really, it's a mentality you have to pick up to even be a business or nonprofit leader, because you're doing a lot of different things at the same time. And many of those things, when you're leaving a job or working a job at the same time, there's a specific task that you're normally doing. And so when you jump into a space where you're coming to be a leader, there's a lot to learn. And I had a lot to learn. And me going to the Brand Hospital just broke down things, literally gave legitimate like steps, mental model, get my mind right. Really, what I always like to tell people is like, help me understand how to stay out of my feelings and stand on business. And while that's happening, understanding what steps are required and what are the requirements to really put my organization in a position where I can go after funds and actually begin to start drawing them in and not like have to beg for them. And so as it turned out, I went from bootstrapping and trying to, you know, like sacrifice not going on vacation and doing all the things that I wanted to do to ultimately now securing $500,000 per proposal or more when it comes to my own organization. And today I'm a part of the Brand Hospital team where I do that work for other organizations on the side of both businesses and nonprofits.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I know all about the sacrifice. I'm in that moment as we speak. Yeah, that it's okay. I know a blessing's going to be coming. But you said your company helps out with like getting attention and collaboration and the necessary engagement.
That's correct.
So you like, I'm trying to like better explain. So
Okay, so yeah, when we say attention, I think everybody in the world understands attention just because, you know, with the integration of the digital space, everyone can just post online and you can talk about your business and you can get the attention that's required for you to bring in more customers, bring in more donors, bring in just the type of level of support that's required for you to get the word out. Well, that's not where the business stops. You also have to be able to build out collaboration. So if you're in a space as a business, you want to collaborate with other businesses, because what that is showing that you're building a community around you of not only customers, but also people who are also on the same level of track that you are on as you're building. And the last one is engagements. So typically what happens at that level of engagement, those are the people who are best positioned to advise and invest. And so you think of yourself going and sit in front of a venture capitalist, going and sit in front of like even a banker who's ready to give your business a business loan, or even the grants that are coming from different foundations. They're looking for specific things. And a part of those things that they're looking for, they want to understand who you're working with, beyond yourself, and how you're going to have what will be in the space of, like, if you're doing philanthropy work, what's the return on impact? And if you're in business, what's the return on their investment? And being able to show that, not only being able to speak, but also show that you're actively doing these things, will make it all make sense and make it well more easier for when you get in the door and you're writing out your proposals. They want to see, like, okay, who are you serving? Who are your customers? Who are the people best positioned to advocate for the work that you're doing, and what have you done? And then ultimately, who's working with you or for you? So when you look at that, who's working with you or for you, are where your collaborations are really coming in. That's how you're getting volunteers. That's how you're getting just people who just believe in your brand and they're okay with giving you more than $1,000 to 10,000 of their time, energy, and assets. And that's where we get to that T. That's something that we actually share, because here at the Brand Hospital, we also have T, and it stands for time, energy, and assets. And quite often we'll say, like, money is time, but we don't always equate that with how people are coming in and providing time to your organization. And if you were to truly pay them, what would their cost be? And being able to break those numbers down and understand them on both sides is very, very important when it comes to understanding how you're going to get money coming in. Because if you come in and you have these big dreams, which we all do, and it ends up being on paper, you're the only one going after it, and you're asking for over $100,000, they're going to be looking at you like, okay, well, what are you truthfully doing with this money? Because we don't see the return on investment. We don't see the return on impact. What are you doing? And so having in your mind that even if you are out here as a solopreneur, ultimately, if you really want to get to the point where you can say you're stable, which for us, we say that you're stable based on what industry standards are at 200,000 or 250,000, really. Because at 250,000, you can say that your organization is really in the position to say you're accredited. And when you get accredited, you have no problems getting the funds.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you speaking to us again, because I am a solopreneur, and I know a lot of other people in the chat are as well. Sarah Happy Hives, she has a honey business. Fresh and Fire, she's out here trying to start her LLC, and we have others as well. So this is the reason why I reached out to you, because I appreciate your company or your organization and brand and the hospital, trying to get people to know the behind the scenes work. It's not just about just getting the LLC or starting your business and then the business just comes to you. This is very helpful for people who are trying to grow their business. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's see. So how long has S2B been in business, and how many people are there behind the scenes helping people?
So S2B Brand Hospital is a part of a larger holding company called S2B Brand. There's about 22 holdings under S2B Brand, but within this division for Brand Hospital, so that's what S2B Brand Hospital is. You have to have at least 6. I'm not only a person that's saying telling other people and advocating for them to say that they need to have 6 people they work with. You got to at least have 6 people you work with, along with any other things that you're doing. And when I say any other things that you're doing as far as business, you said something that was very important. So as an individual, you make this decision to start this journey, right? And when you're starting this journey, you have an ideal place that you want to get to your business, right? So what happens is, while you're working on your business, you're working in your business too. So in your business is you being able to prepare yourself to be a leader for your business that you're starting.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the mindset of being a business leader, there's so many different components that it's sometimes hard to keep up with all of the parts. But if you're able to sit down and like map it out, you understand where you're heading and where you are now. And so you and your business get to meet each other in the middle.
That is great. Yeah.
And while you're meeting yourself in the middle, when you think about people coming in to help you, that just speeds up your process. You know, everybody wants to duplicate themselves. Like you can say, if I had six of myself, I could get all of these things done in the morning, honey. Like, and so that's what you're aiming to do. But you got to think about it first, because while some people may say, "Oh, I really love what you're doing," like so with I can't remember the bee company you said.
Oh, Sarah's Happy Hives. Yeah.
A beehive. So even with her, like, you know, there's steps. There's someone who has to go, um, you know, care for the bees or be a beekeeper. There's a person who's going to be collecting the honeycombs. There's going to be a person who's actually going through and making sure the honey is being packaged. It's going to be the person who's going out to market it. There's going to be the person who's actively watching sales. There's going to be the person that therefore comes in and watches the accountant. There's going to be the person who's creating all of the content, putting it online. And Sarah's probably like, well, I'm doing most of that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if she wants to be able to be in a position where, you know, it's duplicating her efforts, that means that she has an opportunity to multiply what she's doing and speeding it up. And so understanding like how quickly she could grow will be important, because sometimes people grow too quickly. So for instance, you know, you have this show, Sarah sends honey to you, and you constantly putting honey in your tea or even your coffee, because some folks do that. And you're constantly talking about her honey, and you have 50 people that are on today, and you do this 5 times a week. And from that week, you know, maybe 2% sales come from it. And she's doing in person. She also has maybe an online live that she's doing. And so ultimately, those things are meant to be able to put her in a position where more business is coming in. But it
Mm-hmm.
also means that it's going to put more on the other side to keep up with all of those different tasks that we were talking about.
All right.
And
All right.
quite often, you know, because I am talking to my sister, you know, we as Black women want to take it on all. Like, oh, we can do it, which is fine, but it's a thing that it's not healthy.
All right. All right. I appreciate that. I never even considered the thought of like, what if somebody would grow too quickly? Like, okay, you because like I get a lot of samples and things like that from people in the community. I thank you guys all the time. Yeah, word of mouth, and like, oh, Miss T uses that honey. Let's order from Sarah or whoever, you know, I order from. And then, you know, trying to do the business part and the packaging and everything else. It could be a lot to endure. So
Mm-hmm. And so that's why you have to have the right mindset to make
yeah.
sure that every day you're not doing the same task repeatedly over and over and over, but you have a team that you're able to grow. Even if you're a team of 2 or 3, what happens is that you get to grow gradually, right? And it is important. Like, we are living in definitely a digitally market or a digital age where like you have people like Tabitha Brown. Like, can you believe just 3 years ago, Tabitha did her video about having that little
It amazes me when
chicken
I see
salad
her. Mm-hmm.
sandwich at, you know, at Whole Foods, and then look at her career, how it was blown up. But literally it was because she was online talking and captured an audience.
All right.
So it's possible any day. And so what I'm saying is that if you are going to be in that space where you're taking this business serious and you're standing on business, you got to have the right mindset, understanding how you're going to go about doing this, but also keeping in mind that your goal is your vision of where you're heading should always be in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better to think about where you're heading and walk yourself back to where you are now, because that way you're always on track. There are going to be good days, there are going to be bad days, there are going to be days that you just feel like, you know, I'm not doing this no more, I'm too
Yeah.
stressed out, I'm going to sit back. And maybe you just can't, but that doesn't mean that the next day you can't get back up and think about, okay, hey, let me do this to catch up, because you understand where you're heading. And if you think big enough, you're always going to have something to do.
Right. I'm loving this conversation because I do a lot of motivational speaking and things like that. Try to encourage, like, especially other content creators. Don't give up. You know, I do this Monday through Friday. Sometimes it's hard to find people to come on the show, a topic. I'm tired. You know, I had a late night.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. Like, as long as you're standing on business, this is something that you really want to do. You're passionate about dream, your business, and things like that. Yeah, don't get discouraged so quickly.
Mm-hmm. And you're not alone on the journey. There may be things that you feel like it's just you going through, but we all be going through stuff. Like
Okay.
the journey is not unique in a way where you're not gonna run into roadblocks, you're not gonna run into all of these things. They're just very much so a part of the process. But if you believe strongly in your heart that you have this passion, you identified a purpose of why you're doing this, then ultimately it just requires a plan, it requires people, and it requires obviously profits. And being able to be in that space is just being able to grow and mature in business while it's happening. So again, you can stay out of your feelings about when you think that when you start this business that all your friends are going to come in and help you, and then they don't show up, and they ain't coming until maybe other people, and then getting your feelings about it because you just knew, if you were to go to organize all the people that you have in your life and think about the people who are actively going to show up, and you look at your top 5 and they're not the ones that show up, it is discouraging.
Right. It feels like you've been here before, because this is exactly what we talk about on our live show. Like, you may ask your family and friends to, like, oh, come help me, come support my business. But it's more than likely the people you don't know who are going to come out, which is great because people who don't even know you and they genuinely want to support your business. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for all this motivational speaking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the T. It goes back to time, energy, and assets. Like when you think about how people can come in and support you, we always gonna go to money because that's the thing that's always on our mind. We're gonna be like, what kind of assets do you have to give me today? You gonna buy something from me? You gonna support by investing? What you gonna do? Right? But honestly, time and energy are a lot more valuable than the actual money. Because if you think about it this way, who are some of the other businesses that you have here? Because I don't want to continue to point out Sarah, but I love honey. So
Passionately Intrigued Arts, she has a business where she actually made my cup that I'm drinking out of today. So
oh,
yeah, she does she makes personalized products and things for individuals and things like that. I guess like for family reunions, if you want shirts or cups, things like
okay. So
that.
yeah, so you take for her business, right?
Mhm,
And you look at who her actual customer and clientele are, right? So being able to do what you just did, you just provided a testimonial for her.
mhm,
And being able to use the cup and show the cup, and like maybe when she took the time to make it for you, she was thinking about you. She probably watched your show and she's like, oh, I'm gonna make something from the tea with the tea. So when she's on her show, she can use this cup. So being mindful of, like of the time that she put into making it, right? Same thing is true when you're thinking about the people who can come in and support your business. Again, I know we are here to talk about funding. So let's get into how you can use time to develop more funding. So take the time to sit back and do something that most people don't do. You have these phones that we carry around. Like these phones are like duplications of our memory, right?
mhm,
We have people from all throughout our walk of life. People we went to school with, people we worked with, people we've done business with, people we traveled with, people that are in our family, not in our family, people that probably shouldn't be in our phone anymore, right?
mhm.
But even just going through is quite a therapeutic process of going through and just looking through your phone and actually, I know when I say this, people are always like, "What are you talking about?" Dump all of the contacts out of your phone, and don't do it in a way where you're rushing it by doing just like a quick transfer, plugging your phone in somewhere and like somehow dumping the information out. But actually going through line by line and understanding who's in your life. Because
Mhm.
again, throughout life, the years go quick, and especially since we went through the pandemic, you know, we kind of dismissed ourselves from people because we didn't see them. So you kind of forget about people along the way, but it doesn't mean that you guys ain't cool no more.
Right.
And some of the people that are in your phone are actually the best people positioned to help you with your brands. Why? Because they already know you, they like you enough to have put their number in their phone, and they trust you. And know, like, and trust is important because it doesn't matter what you do. People need to understand why you're doing it, and they also need to trust you. And
Okay.
so going through literally your phone and pulling up a document, and anyone who's interested, you can, I think Miss T has all of my information. Set up some
Mhm.
time, and I'll walk you through how you do this process. And the way you do it, again, is just go through your phone and pick out people. And when you're picking out people, you're picking out and understanding, like, how do you know them? What's their actual contact information? Then you want to take and go through and look at, find them on social media. I love LinkedIn. I think Miss T and I, we actually met through LinkedIn through a conference a couple of years ago. But even with that, you go on LinkedIn because it's very professional, of a professional space. Most people keep it real cute and professional there. So you'll understand what businesses they were, or what brands they have, what businesses they work for, what job titles they have. And it's important for you because, if you are making customized cups and these brands or businesses are having events, that's an easy one, especially if you get to call your homegirl from sixth grade who's now working at some corporation, who hasn't seen you in years, but y'all always been cool. And it doesn't matter the time and distance and space in between, because it doesn't change the fact that you have foundational relationship with each other, where she's like gladly help you. Those are the people who are going to push funding for you, because a conversation from somebody who know you that well can actually turn into a lot more than just a one-on-one sell.
Agree.
Think about that. And secondarily, when you think about energy, who are the people who, know, like, and trust you enough to come out and show up for you? And maybe they haven't because you haven't called. Because that's the other thing. There's a lot of assumptions that go into, why people do the things that they do or don't do the things that they do, because you have too much time in between. And you're like, if you create space for you're only in your own head, you make up narratives that most of the time aren't true. You don't know until you talk to that person, and give them that kind of right in your life to just call them and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. I don't know if you saw online or if we have ever had that conversation, but I just want to call you and let you know these are the things. This is my big goal. And I'm actively looking for people who believe in my goal with me, but believe in my dream enough to contribute to it. Right. And having those conversations, or you being real grown and being out of your feelings and why you stand on business. Because again, you're not calling to beg and ask for money. You're asking them for their time and a little bit of their energy to help you push through this big dream that you have. And if you believe it that much, you can make these 10-minute, 15-minute conversations with people who you already know, as much as you can go through and call some complete strangers who they're going to avoid you anyway because they don't know you. They're like, what you calling for? And they already know you asking for money.
I'm loving this engagement. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I speak on this as well. A lot of people may not know, like, you may just briefly say to them, okay, I got a YouTube channel. Maybe get out of your feelings. You don't know what's going on. They may not know the gist of, being a content creator. Maybe reach out to people like, hey, I have this live stream show. This is what I'm trying to do. I would really appreciate if you come over and support. Like, reach out and speak to people. You never know what's going on. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Carol, the Girl Miniature, said, I've been trying to get funding for my business for a long time. Do I have to change to a nonprofit?
No. There are grants for businesses as much as there's grants for nonprofits. I will say that there is a positive additive to have like nonprofit status, which just means like when we talk about collaborations, if you can find a nonprofit that kind of aligns with your business in some way where you guys can work on something together, you can actively actually get funds through your collaboration that you do, while the nonprofit itself is going to collect the funds, as long as you guys have a memorandum of understanding or a contract to say the work that you're doing and for how much, you can go that way. But if I can know a little bit more about the type of business you have, I can probably be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, that is a good question, Carol. If you don't mind letting us know, what type of business do you have over there? A lot of people are LGGGG. She said she shared this out as well. She said, thank you guys so much. RFD Talks. This is great business tea. Thank you, ladies. You are more than welcome. So do you want to give a brief recap to just people who are coming in? I see we have OCD chick. Welcome in, and Stay Hall. She is a serious, she helps me a lot with the business aspect of Miss T with the T. So like, yeah, if you want to like let people know just briefly again who you are and what you are about,
Oh, yes. Shantelle, S. Ladybug Brumfield. I'm also known as a nonprofit brand doctor here at the S2B Brand Hospital. It's really my mission and goal to help other people find their mission, visions, and impact goals, along with their visions and their missions and their outcomes, whether they be in the business space or nonprofit space, so they can actually be in a position where they can stabilize their brands. And stabilizing means that I work with organizations that are anywhere from zero to 250,000, because my goal is to help you crack 250,000, because 250,000 should always be everyone's goal that's just starting or even actively being in a position, because at 250 life changes. Not only because of money you're bringing in, but also because of the support you can bring in. So there was a question just now about business who's actively been looking for funding. Really, you need to have a budget that is going to be reflective of a 250 plus, because again, your goal is to get there. All right. And so even if you're not actively bringing in that level of revenue, your goal is to actively put on paper and show people like, hey, this is where I am now, but this is where I'm heading. And so understanding what that look like. And quite often, many of us, because again, this has been my journey. I've ran businesses and I started my first business my freshman year in college. And even then, it was always about driving revenue, but also it's quite common that we forget about paying ourselves. And so while your organization may not be in a position, meaning your business or your organization may not be in a position to pay you full rate, it should always be in a budget somewhere that when you are in the position that you are going to pay yourself. And even as you're paying yourself, your goal is to, we say 250,000, but that means that 250,000 puts your business or your organization in a position where you can at least have 5 employees.
Okay. Enjoy that. I love that. I tend to write down a lot. I like how you suggested to me the video part. I mean the audio on the phone, because I write a lot to where my hand is just like tired. But
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy putting on paper, because on paper I put, it's like a vision board. It's like, these are the things I need to do. This is my next step. This is what I'm working on next, and things like that. So yeah, write it down. I definitely agree with that one. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anything. Welcome in, girl dad. As always, guys, we are always welcoming questions. She helps, like, with your company with engagement and collaboration with other businesses in the fields that you may be working in, and all that kind of good stuff. So any type of question you may have, they are more than welcome. Thank you to the 25 people in here, even if you may be in the bushes just getting wanting any type of information. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, we're all caught up.
Okay. Yeah, I would say too, at this level, when you're at the 250, I mean, if you haven't cracked that 250, typically the areas of focus end up becoming copy. So the messaging that goes out, your content. Content, by the way, it could be, posts, it could be video, it could be audio. Collateral pieces that you have. You just mentioned that you like to put things on paper. Well, there's 3 different formats that you can use, whether you're in person, right? When you're meeting people, you're at networking events, or you're just at the grocery store, you should always be talking about your business wherever you are.
Mhm.
But even so, it's in person, online, and on paper. So what you always want to think about is that you want to give people takeaways. Everything is not a sale, but sometimes you have to educate people on what you do and why you do it, and why your business or your brand is different.
I agree, because sometimes your dream and your passion that you're speaking to people, they're like, "Oh, okay, she is really persistent about this. This is really a dream that she has. I want to support it." So
You
speaking
have to
about it
be. You
helps.
have to be. Because the thing about it is that you're always one person away from an explosion in your life. And that explosion could be an explosion in business, it's explosion in support. It could be an explosion in like the type of resources and things that you come up with along the way. Like especially in this space, one of the big things about most businesses is that you have to take care of logistics. And so if you can connect with a trucking company, and you can connect with people who are going to actively move things from one place to the next, that could be major, because then you get to control the amount of funds that you or revenue you can actually keep, where you're not cutting your costs or cutting into your profits because you have to pay all of these outside things to happen and make sure that people have a good experience with you.
Mm-hmm. Carol came back to us, the girl miniature. I am a chef that cooks miniature food on YouTube. I am just starting to sell miniatures so that I can open my own miniature restaurant for underprivileged people.
And her business is a for-profit currently.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. So being able to, one side is going live. I'm hearing her say that she's a chef and she's online. So the other half of it is being able to tell her story. So one thing is what you're offering people as their experience, but being able to also open up and share a little bit about your background while you're doing this, and why you started. What are the inciting events that led you to this? Where
Big
your
T.
background base is from, but
Mm-hmm.
also doing it separate from when you're cooking, because you want to give people that ability to have that personal connection with you in your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it happens through different things. Like, for instance, if you say that, you grew up in a family where your grandmother did most of the cooking and you were the one who spent most of the time with her, and you have all the recipes. Even if she never wrote them down, you have them in your mind because it passed that way.
This is
And
great
being able to
information.
share that, that story, I'm sure even me saying that is something that resonates with people who just heard me say it. And so being able to find that emotional connection with folks are going to be important, because not always are people coming to you to buy because of what you're doing. They buy because they like you.
Mm-hmm. The
They
history.
understand your journey and they believe in what you're doing and they want to support that. And having those type of people around who support you because they love your journey and they care about your success are going to be the people who are going to champion you through your ultimate success that you're looking for. And they're not going to be the people who come in very transactional, like, hey, I came here, give me some food, and then I'm out. And especially with food being such a spiritual journey through life, everybody has to eat. And if you have
Right.
a good story to go along with it and you're able to build a relationship with your chef, then they're going to be on the journey with you, as opposed to supporting or contributing or just contributing to your journey. They're going to be right there with you.
Yes, I appreciate this again. F. Smith says, I appreciate all this information. She cannot write fast enough. Girl, I'm right there with you. And I enjoy how you said, like, maybe, like, I know I'm not calling anybody on blast, but like a lot of content creators, um, like we have a lot of gardeners, for example, a lot of beekeepers, they tend to go out in their element, and they like to just show you what they're doing and how they're doing it. Maybe a couple of one-on-one with your audience to let them know who you are, your backstory, because sometimes it is that history and that passion that gets people wanting to buy your products or whatnot. So yeah, that was some good tea right there.
Hey, Tiff.
Okay. And what's up, David Corey, with that crop? How you doing, sir? Let me see.
So I think for the folks who just came in, we were talking about time, energy, and assets being the way that you really put your organization in a position to stabilize and actually draw in more funds or revenue. And being able to, again, go through your own, get a strong lay of your land and understand who's in your life, who's in your network, and begin to just pick up your phone and start calling. A phone call goes a very, very, very long way, especially since how people are in this space of they're trying to offload that engagement piece and that communication piece into technology, where they're like, oh, I sent an email. And it's like, okay, did you call? And it's like, no, I didn't call. I really don't like talking to people like that. And it's just like, but you want their money and you want their support. You got to call them and talk to them.
Mm,
That personal touch point of, like for instance, going back to the honey, being able to get on the phone and just say, hey, I just want to thank you so much for being on this journey with me. You know, Sometimes I don't feel like getting up and doing this, but I think about how much I enjoy the conversations and the posts and the feedback of people having, to use my honey in their teas and their desserts and their families, draw this connection. It's important. Just want to thank you and get off the phone.
right. Sometimes you gotta get out your comfort zone. Like, I am totally not. I say that all the time. I'd rather text than talk. But sometimes if that's what you got to do to promote your business, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a clip from Rick Ross from a couple of years ago, and he was just like, "How dare you be stingy with the time for your business, and you're the one who care about it most."
There you have it. Fresh and Fire, my good friend, says, do you think it's a good idea to get a collaboration from the beginning of your business or after you reach that 250K?
Oh no, anytime in your business on your business journey is a good time. Like so today is a good time. There's 25 people on here are plus and all of you have businesses. If I'm you and what I do, even with the work that I do currently, I'm constantly in the chat trying to figure out who people are. Like, hey, can we set up some time to talk? And understand just where you are in your journey because again, these people are there and you guys are actively in the same space that you have a heart for support, a heart for success, and perfectly positioned because not everybody understands the journey of a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a nonprofit leader. Not if you're a leader. They sometimes look at you like, oh, okay, you doing that again? You still working? What are you doing? And so being able to build out those relationships now, whether it's just you building out a community of people that you can just talk to, that is a collaborative space because ultimately, you all have brands. You can go on live, you can do interviews like this, you can talk to each other about your journeys. And it's important because, again, you just want to open up your world to other people. And when it comes to collaborations, being able to find, like a strong one would be like this. So there's the chef who came in, right? Right now, she's cooking. She could literally collaborate with anyone who has a building. It could be a school, it could be a community organization, it could be a bank, it could be a corporation where she's coming in and providing lunch for all of these corporate offices. Those are great collaborations to have, especially if they continue to invite you back in. Because what don't they have? Sometimes they have kitchens and cafeterias, but are they going to have the experience that you would bring? No.
How do you suggest, like, for example, Carol, the girl manager, to start collaborations with businesses? Like, do you think she should like email, like, hey, I'm a small business, I would love to come and like
You
serve?
have to build the relationship with a person.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to pick up your phone and call, well, back up. So going back to the list,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going through your phone, understanding who's there. Even while you're doing that, you should be thinking about, okay, how could this person, I hate to say it like this, but this is what it is. How could this person be useful on this journey? All right. Understanding where they work could be important because this is you calling like, hey, I have this catering business, I'm a private chef. I'm looking at doing minis because my goal is to ultimately open up a restaurant. So right now I'm all about being able to just get in front of people and give them experience. Is that something that you think that your company would be open to? And if so, can you kind of direct me in the right direction of where or who I should talk to, what department?
Right, right. I
If
love.
this is really truthfully your folks, they be like, oh, yeah, yeah, I got you.
Right. And it's not necessarily like using people. It's just like, okay, these are like she said, I will first like evaluate your phone contacts, who's all in there, who you speak to and things like that. Who are people who are really supportive of your journey? Uh, like she said, find out where they work at. Maybe it's a place where you are able to like set up a small stand and have people sample your products and things like that. Just
Yeah, we have corporate events all the time. So you can have, it doesn't even have to feel like vending. It could be, a space where sometimes corporations, they'll just create a budget to bring someone in. So it's not you trying to have a booth and you're selling to people inside the corporation. You're giving them samples because you were already paid ahead to just be present. But the actual track is to make your list first, understand what you're actively looking to do, and then when you're going through your list, think about it. Secondarily, is that when you begin to start contacting people, it's not just an email. We have a rule of six. So the rule of six says that you have to have 6 meaningful touch points with people before they even commit to taking an action. And it's true because you may send an email and they don't respond, but it's probably they didn't see it, could have went in their spam, and it was just an email that went out. All right. So picking up your phone could be your secondary touch point. Pick up your phone, call like, hey, I sent you over an email. I'm not sure if you got it, but I wanted to just give you a heads up. This is where I am in the space right now. I have this business. I've been doing this. And so it's always good to know your numbers. hey, like throughout the years or throughout the week or this month, my goal this month is to hit whatever number you're trying to hit when it comes to revenue. To do that, you're looking to do more collaborations in a way where you have already mapped out what you're going to do, right? So whatever that collaboration is, or whatever that event or touch point that you want to create, you tell the person that you're on the phone with, and hey, I just want you to know, because if you know of anyone, whether it be at work or other organizations or other businesses that you believe may align, I would truly appreciate if you would just take that extra step and, do an introduction or point me in the right direction. That's a way you can do it. But you want to then, if you can't get the person on the phone, send them a text. If you can't get them in the email, phone, or text, send them a DM. And whenever you get them on the phone for whatever you're doing, you want to test, kind of test the weather first before you begin to start asking for something. Spend the time telling them what you're doing first, catching up. And especially if you haven't talked to this person in a long time, it's going to happen naturally. And what happens is, oh, so what have you been up to? And then you start telling them, like, I started this business. These are my goals. My goal is to really be successful at what I'm doing. And, to be honest, I jumped in this and I'm really excited, but I realized that I can't get where I'm trying to get by myself. And so it's people like you and people who are in my life that I'm talking to figure out who's going to be best positioned to really come in and support this journey with me. Whether it be time, taking the time to just share out on your social media anytime I post something or anything, any announcement I have, whether it's energy, taking some time to actually help me walk through conversations and connect with new people. Or actually, if you don't have any time or energy, well, if you can make an investment by supporting this brand, purchasing product from me, services, or making a donation, that's going to lead to this big picture moment that you have.
Okay. So thank you again, Shantelle, Ms. Brumfield, for coming up here. You spilled a lot of tea. We still have about 20, 30 more minutes of people who want to ask any type of questions. And
Yeah, let's
again,
go through the questions, girl. That's why they here. They don't
okay.
want to hear about. They don't want to hear about me. They want to hear about the answers.
uh, Her email and contact information is in the description of this. We connected on LinkedIn, so I appreciate her reaching out to me. Thank you to the people who shared their story, Carol the Girl Miniature, Sarah's Happy Highs, and everybody. Make sure I don't forget anything. I know we only got about 20, 30 more minutes.
Yep. Or you can jump onto thebrandhospital.com, and it's a little questionnaire form there, and then you can get on my schedule. My diagnostics are currently free. We get on the call, 15 minutes. You can tell me what you want to talk about. I'll let you know, point you in the right direction. If it's something I can do to help you, I'll help you. If it's something I can do to connect you, I can connect you. At that brand hospital, we like to say that we help breathe life into businesses and organizations. And we do so by just breathing life in your lungs. Sometimes, you can feel like you are on life support, you're in the ER, like you're on your last leg. And sometimes you just need that person to come in to pump you back up. That's what we're here for.
Hey, I love it. Thank you, Passion and Treat. Or she dropped down thebrandhospital.com. Yeah, so we love the term absolutely free. You get 15 minutes to speak with her, and whatever you need, whatever kind of questions you may have, she's open and to talk to you. So yeah,
Yep.
take advantage.
And if you call or set up the call, I'll make sure you'll get a copy of that sheet that I was just talking about to help you kind of navigate going through your phone and keep everything all in order.
We do have my sis, Soul Sister, all the way from New York. Good morning, sis. Great info. Do you help with grants?
I do. I'm a grant writer. I think that's why actually Missy hit me up. This is actually grant season, so a lot of people have been hit me up because I've actually begun to start sharing out. Most of the time it's normally verbally. I'm like, oh yeah, we just got a grant for this organization over here. But I just start posting. So there's an organization here in California called Holding Space, where she does mental wellness and mindfulness retreats. We just helped her get $256,000 on one grant. And right after we got the funds, she's been actually bringing in more and more funds after it happened. So she's over $300,000 already. We made that happen in less than 6 weeks. just because it was a grant that was due. And by the time I got her phone call, she was like, well, how quickly can you turn around this grant? And I was just like, well, I mean, I can do it in 42 hours or 48 hours, but we got it in at the deadline, and it just really was heartfelt for me, just because, again, as a person who's been on this journey and understands what it feels like not to have the type of funds that you're looking for. But also with her, she's been on this journey for about 15 years and she had never got funding before. And so she came in what we call grant writer fatigue, because there's a lot of grant writers out here. I mean, just be honest, as much good as there is online, there's a lot of scamming that's going on. And quite often you can run into a lot of them. And sometimes it's not always the scammer's fault. Sometimes it's your fault by not knowing what you don't know, and then they take advantage of it. And so just being well informed. So this organization, when we actually met in person originally, and we just kind of kept in touch like over a year, and she just hit that point where she was just like, I'm on life support. I'm calling you because I know every time I'm talking to you or you're watching something online, it's always about at the Brand Hospital, you breathe life into things. And she was like, and I need you. And I went through and we prepared a grant and we received it. Like I said, 256,000, and we're able to go in and actually continue that, because again, sometimes people don't want to give you money because other people haven't given you money. And so the fact that she got it, now it just means that it opens up a space for matching. So because you get 250 or whatever the number is, you can go to another company and ask them to match the funds that you got from another grant, and they'll do it. Especially now, you have until basically December 31st to get funds from corporations. When we're looking at the nonprofit side, if we're just looking at the number of how much funds went out last year, $559 billion went out to organizations last year. And part of that, the last quarter, is because many organizations and corporations, they have to give away so much money before they're taxed. And so they have until December 31st. And so a lot of them funds, they can come on December 31st, because as long as it's done within the year, they can't get taxed on this year's tax for when they're doing their taxes for next year.
See, that's good information to know. So Tampa's Creek, Homestead, and more said that's exactly what I need to be uplifted and motivation. Also, needing a grant writer. Whoop, there she is. What was I about to say? I forgot to ask. I think I seen it on your LinkedIn. How much do you estimate that you think that you help people to in grants that you help them receive?
I actually haven't totaled all of it. I just did a quick
Okay.
number, like, because I do get that question. And so I just mapped it into like what has happened over the last 18 months or so. It's been a little over 4 or 5 million, I believe, over the last 18 months.
That is wonderful. Fresh and Fire Backyard Living saying, what are the benefits of making your own business a nonprofit versus a profit? Someone recently said that's the direction we should go. I never considered it. So what's the difference between a profit and a nonprofit business? I guess.
So one thing that I would say immediately, definitionally, they're a business and a nonprofit are the same as how you should treat them. Like you can make money, you can do all of the other things, but it's about the status that you get, right? The thing that makes a nonprofit most appeasing for people to actually fund is because of the tax write-off you get. And the big part is that while ultimately sometimes when you get started on the journey, you'll go through and register LLC. Well, LLC, even in its language, is limited. And so when you're going to a bank, the challenge is that you can go to a bank and get a loan for 50,000. But the problem is that once you get that 50,000, you're not going to get any more money from the bank. That's just not going to happen. And it's because you're limited in your liability. They want to see, when you're looking at a nonprofit is a corporation. The reason why it's different in the language, corporation, we think about this great nation we live in. The great nation we live in is a corporation. And so if you can get corporation status and tell people that you can donate money to me and I don't have to pay you back and you get to write it off, it's appeasing. They'll give you more funds. Now, the thing about it is that it is good to still have the LLC, but you treat it as a limited. So if you have a for-profit business, it's good to have a nonprofit arm at some point, or be in a position where, again, you can work directly with other organizations that may have the status, and then you all work into an agreement of how you're going to work together. So I'll give you an example, because I think that's always important. So think about the fact that the farmers that are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Farming, and you're growing your own vegetables, and you have like your bee farms, and um, what happens is, on the retail side, you can sell all of your produce, you can sell all your products. Now, the other thing is, if you have identified a good way. So one of the things is that, it can be for a community-based organization. It can be for one that is serving youth, one is serving homeless, one that's serving and providing for aging population, where you all work into this space where you have this farm to table experience. For them, what you're doing is providing food for those that they serve. And so for them, they can go out and get a grant to say that the two of you all are going to work together, where your goal is to support people who are in this space where you can feed. Right. And so now you as an organization can say, hey, we have product to sell, but also we are in collaboration with this organization where we're providing food for kids, for homeless, for elderly, for those who are actually in need. And so it becomes a thing where now, when you're putting together baskets, now you can put together a basket in a space, or some kind of way where you can package your products that you normally would sell at one rate. And when you package together, now you're asking for a donation to support the organization. Or when you purchase, like, you think about companies like Tom's, you think about water companies like Echoes, and some of the other ones, where when you're purchasing from those organizations, they're literally telling you 10% of this sale is going to this organization over here. And what you're drawing is, again, why should people come and purchase from you versus going somewhere else? Well, because when they purchase from you, you're able to say that you're supporting a small business, where you're able to now also support the community that this small business, supports. Now, why is that important? Now, when you go to the bank, and those who have businesses and are looking for grants, you can go to your local bank. Every single bank in every single town has a community fund, and you don't have to be a nonprofit to get the funds.
Good.
Those funds are centered around saying that, as a community, we know that we're your bank, and all of the money that you're bringing in from the community is normally housed here. But what we're saying is that, as the bank, we also want to show that we support this community together. So we want to support you by sponsoring an event you're doing. So again, going back to any kind of things that you're doing, and you're looking for sponsors, right? Because that's another way you can draw in revenue, by doing events and having sponsor dollars come in. And you don't have to be a nonprofit to get them. So your revenue drivers become doing events, having sponsor dollars come in, selling smaller versions of whatever packaging that you have, along with having your retail available. And so when people say you have to have, six streams of income, you create your streams of income by the things that you're doing, the product lines, the services, and the things that you have. And then also building out the collaborations with local organizations, especially financial institutions, to say, like, hey, we are here to make a positive impact on the community. And then they can say, oh, well, we can give you $2,000. We can give you $5,000. We can put 10,000 towards that. And then you continue to bud that relationship, because who you're building a relationship with is not the actual institution. It's the person who works for the institution.
Okay, got you, got you. A lot of people are enjoying this conversation, and I'm loving it. Fresh said, okay, thank you so much, Doc, for this great information. Like she said earlier, she does have, if you go to, what is the website again to go to?
The brandhospital.com.
Thank you. And yeah, she does offer 15 minutes of her time absolutely free. So, like, take advantage.
Please take advantage. And I'm saying, and when I say that, I'm like, really be serious about this too, because what we all may not want to accept is that our world is getting ready to change on January 20th. So literally, you don't have time to wait. So if you were trying to wait, like, oh, I'm gonna do this next year, don't wait. Prepare now. Have an
Okay.
idea of like what you're going to be doing, set some plans, figure out maybe some people who's on this live that you can potentially work with and move forward. Because what's not going to happen as a community, we cannot move forward and we not be together. So putting our feelings and our emotions aside, like stay out of your feelings and stand on business and make sure you put your organization and therefore your dreams on track where you're not um, like you're pre-planning what your successes are going to be for the next 4 years. So plan for the next 4 years. Because if you don't and you wait until January 20th, a plan is going to be delivered to you.
All right. Get out of your feelings and stand on business. Okay. Don't let people discourage you. I am greatly enjoying this, and I'm sure a lot of people in here are enjoying it as well. Like sometimes, like to get what you need to do for yourself, you need to like don't worry about what like people are saying or anything like that. Just stand on business. I love
I
it.
said something yesterday on my LinkedIn and people have been sending me messages. I just said that don't be in a position where you allow other people's opinions or observations to become your reality.
Mm-hmm. I can greatly agree with that. Welcome in RLM and Unbiased. Every time I think I'm about to shut down, we get up to about 30 people up in here. So shout out to people coming in during the end of the live. I appreciate it. Tampa says facts. She's trying to get her life and her business together. I'm loving it. I'm loving
That's
it.
it, girl. Stay out of your feelings because yeah, it's gonna be reality. You may not be where you want to be now, but it doesn't mean that you can't get there. And it's gonna take you to be serious about where you are. Stay out of your feelings, stand on your business, and make sure you every day you're working towards that goal and don't stop. And anybody who's coming in your way to tell you that they don't believe in you, they don't see it, guess what? They're just not your person. Forget about them.
Right. Right. And I love that. I was saying a couple of days ago, it doesn't even matter. Like they can be childhood friends, family, everybody doesn't have the same dream as you. Okay. Don't get discouraged because that's not their dream. That's your dream, your ministry. That's what you were sent on this world to do. Unbiased LLC. Hey, Queens on the panel and chat. Been in and out of the bushes listening. Great interview and information. Thank you, Miss LLC. Let me see. Fresh said, I love that. Great information. Yeah, everybody is enjoying this. Thank you again so much for coming in. And again, she's on a 3-hour time difference. So it's bright and early. She said she had her prayers this morning and she's good
Yes,
to
I
go.
wake up every morning at 5 and get my prayers up because, I have to have the right energy when I'm entering things because, I got to stay out of my feelings.
Right, stay out of the
Me
feelings.
too. I got to stay out of my feelings.
Don't let other people's words discourage you. I love it. I love it.
But and a major part of that, of what the work that we do here at the S2B Brand Hospital, really getting back to like the serious point, is that we have a mental model. That mental model, the 6x6 mental model, has been the thing that has been game changing for me. It is the thing that has allowed me to understand who I need to be as a leader, and also understanding what steps I need to make in my business, so therefore I can bring it all together in the center. And it's been work. And that's me saying that humbly. So anybody who's here who just feels like, sometimes it's just too much, that you feel like everybody around you is throwing salt, we just say it to shrink you down. Don't worry about them. Again, when going through your phone, you're going to go through people that, like did you wrong in the past. Remove them from your phone. What you keeping space for them for? You are blocking your blessing for other people coming in who going to come in and do more.
Okay.
Like with this mental model, you can be able to be in a space where you can get more done in the next 6 months than you have in the last 6 years. And that takes you being able to define what you're doing, design the world that you're building out, deliberate on all of different problems, and then finally make a decision on what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, while you're thinking about the divine outcomes that come from that. And then put yourself in the position that every time something happens, you go back and debrief what went well, what didn't go well, and understanding feedback is super important. As long as, again, you stay out of your feelings, because people are going to be all in their space about, oh, I didn't feel like this was happening. And you just take it all in, make your adjustments, and start all over and keep going and keep going and keep going until you finally hit a point where it's something that you love so much that nobody can tell you anything. And that takes reps because, like it does, it's like going to the gym. When you first get there, it's hard because you're like, "What? I thought I was gonna be on a treadmill for an hour. Girl, I'm on there for 3 minutes." Like, but every time you keep getting back on, you're building up your endurance and you're telling yourself, like, hey, you just did this. And it's the consistency that goes along with it that is so important.
Okay.
Because again, you think about what you want to do, but you also understand that, it takes time, energy, and assets. You can't say that you're going to start this business and you haven't cracked 25,000 and then you're going to jump to 250 in a month
All right.
unless you sit back and do the work.
I love the fact that you said, like, I did that. Yeah, step back and say you did that, because Unbiased LLC. Let's go there. Okay. She does hair, doing hair listening. She's a content creator. She sews, she creates, she makes clothing. She changes oil. Okay. When you can look back and say, yeah, my friend Unbiased LLC, I definitely did that. She does everything to the moon and back. So I'm glad you got a chance to catch us while doing hair.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Well,
morning.
I'll tell you, Unbiased LLC, girl, get you around some other people who hustle as hard as you do. Together, y'all can make a super impact.
All right now. Official J Mia in Florida. Welcome in. Welcome in. Look, every time I'm about ready to shut it down, we almost at 35 people. Okay. Let's see here. Tampa said, I be in my feelings and I have got to change my mindset. I'm the one holding myself back. Yeah, that could be the situation. That could be the situation.
No, absolute. That is absolutely the situation. Because one thing that can happen is you can do anything as long as you don't have yourself telling you can't, and other people coming in to distract you. Because you get more done, just even or what the quote says, you miss every ball that you don't try to attempt to hit.
Okay. Forget them folks, Tampa. Forget them folks.
For real. If they're not giving you any of their time, any of their energy or assets, why do you care anyway?
Right.
That's them. That's evidence that they don't care about your success. So why you hear what they have to say?
Right. When Boo Boo says, I cannot give up on my dream. I know that's right. What's up, hands in the dirt? Another person, jack of all trades, a hunter, a gardener, a husband, content creator, jack of all trades. Welcome in. Welcome in. Everybody's saying hello. This is awesome information from F. Smith Welch. I got the chance to meet her. She's a wonderful woman. Oh, let's see, Miss Shirley, the OG. I love saying her name, the OG gardener. She's plenty of experience. Let's see, who else? Everybody's saying hi. Thank you again for the 35 plus people in here. Well,
so while we're here, if we're getting ready to wrap up, or before we get ready to wrap up, I will say that anybody who's watching, just understand that if you're actually looking for funding for your organization or your business, that you want to go through and create a plan. And I'm not just talking about a business plan. I'm talking about a plan for the money that you're going after. Select the amount that you're going after, pick, something that you're actually going to do for it, and create a budget for it. And remember in that budget to include yourself, so you pay yourself. Don't be out here just doing work, like your business is a business, so it's separate from you. And while it is yours and you may have to make sacrifices, you don't always have to make the sacrifice of not paying yourself for your time that you're putting in. So providing that as just language and information, that will put you in a better space when you're getting in front of people and you're getting ready to ask for a financial, support or whatever it may be, because they need to see something that you're doing. And it doesn't have to be big picture, but what can you do now? What would you do for, with additional $10,000? What would you do with an additional $20,000? What would you do with additional 100,000? But start at the level that you can get to. So right now at the S2B Brand Hospital, we have an initiative called 1K to 10K. And our goal is to help 1,000 businesses and nonprofits secure an additional $10,000 within the next year. And so if that sounds like something that could benefit from you, I invite you to just sit back and take some time to go through thebrandhospital.com, where you can set up some time and I can hear, or someone from our team can set up, just the time, and we call it brand diagnostics. And so in that diagnostic, we'll go through, ask you questions, understand where you are now, and then also provide a prescription that can help you get to where you want to get to next. And we'll do all that. It's a 15-minute conversation. I invite you all to do that because, it's just like any other check. Your organization or your business may be in a space where it may be heading to, urgent care, the ER, or actually be on life support. And if you haven't received like your annual check, I just invite you to just do that so you can understand where you actually are, where you're not in your mind or your head thinking that you're just not doing good or you're doing okay, and get you to a point where you're in a position of being healthy and thriving.
Okay. Thank you to over 30 people still in here. Analytical Gardener says great information. We'll definitely have to catch the replay. And I'm sorry I missed it. Soul Sister put it again. For those who don't know, kindly explain the difference between not-for-profit and nonprofit. That blew me away.
So, nonprofit is when you have a 501c3 status, and you're able to collect funds while people are able to make it as a tax write-off for themselves. So if someone say, hey, I want to give you $5,000, they can donate it to your organization. And when they do their taxes, they get the write-off that they gave out, $5,000. And what it does is it deletes itself or subtracts itself from your annual income. So it's taken away from the income tax by when people are coming to provide donations for your organization. Not for profit actually means for profit, because the work that you're doing, you're getting a profit in, but what you're saying as a business is that you're really operating as a charity, so no one's making money.
Okay. Now, before I keep going, because we are still holding it down between 30, 35 people, do you have somewhere to be anytime soon?
I'm going to be starting my day here in the next 30 minutes.
Okay. So we're going to wrap it
I
up.
started my day with you, but start the day in the next 30.
Okay. Stay all out there in the Fort Worth area. We're going to end here in about 5 minutes. She said, great show. I love to connect with Shantelle. I found her on LinkedIn. Stay Hall. She's my mentor, I would like to say, because I'm just now starting to be a motivational speaker, put more seriousness into it. And so she was like, go on LinkedIn. That's, you find a lot of people. And this is where I found Shantelle. Also, her email is in the description. She wants to connect with you. I am a CEO in the Fort Worth. I'm a CEO of both for-profit and nonprofit, and I definitely see value in as collaborating. Yes. So yeah, I did find her on LinkedIn. So she recommended me to go to LinkedIn, and that's how we connected. Yeah, so she does have to get her day going. Thank everybody for coming in. Hey, so now what? Welcome in.
So before we close out here, I like to have these fallout notes, and the notes are really to make sure that people again are able to stay out of their feelings, stand on business, and really have a plan on what the future is going to look like. And one of the things that is very, very healthy of a practice is that if you're going to sit back and think about all the things that are going wrong, go write them down and create a plan for what are you going to do to resolve it.
I love that. So thank everybody again. Thank you for coming in so early on your end. Again, her information is in the description, and I know Passionately Intrigued Arts has kindly been posting her website and her email address in the comment section. Yes, take advantage. She does offer a 15-minute free consultation. So
I do. And anyone who's here, I'm going to give you also a free gift. If you're a for-profit, I'm going to give you a contact distribution list, otherwise known as a CDL. The CDL is going to let you go through your phone and begin to start organizing those contacts. We call it the CDL because if you're going to drive your business, you want to have the right license to do so. That's the people that you're going to bring along the way. If you have a nonprofit, I'll give you a DHL. Again, like just as in DHL, the company that delivers packages, you want to package your business in a way where you understand your logistics and understand where you're heading and the people along the way that you're going to be dropping off to.
Okay, we have one last question. So it's from Unbiased LLC, the Jack of all trades. Do you recommend a business to be on LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend your business to be everywhere. Like, again, there is nothing wrong with being in a place where you go out and put it every single place online that you can. And the reason why you want to do that is because you never know where your audience is truthfully going to be. You have to find them. They're not going to find you. And if you're going to allow them to be in a position where they do, you got to be where they are.
All right. Well, thank everybody for your time. Thank you, Doctor, for your
The brand
time.
doctor is here, honey. And I look forward to anybody who wants to set up time. Let's do it. Again, there is a countdown that we're on. January 20th is coming, and you want to have a plan for what you're going to be doing before then. Otherwise, a plan is going to be given to you by this crazy company that we're about to be in. So
look at, she's dropping the T even as we leave. If you don't plan, what? Say that again.
if you don't plan for yourself, a plan will be delivered for you. And if you are out here and you don't want people out here telling what you can and cannot do, make your plan and begin to start working it now.
Love it, love it. I'm over here taking notes and trying to interview at the same time. Well, thank you again, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and yes, take advantage of Miss Brumfield, and we'll see you all. Well, I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, everybody.